Well, if you're not a fan of cruise line COVID restrictions, today is going to be a really good day for you. We've got one huge cruise line owned by Carnival Corporation here in the US finally coming out and saying, unvaccinated cruisers, we see you, we hear you, and we want you on our line. Plus, there's a Caribbean port, Western Caribbean, and it's one you've heard of. And they're also saying, well, vaccine requirements, don't need them. Let's talk about it. Roll the intro. Hey, welcome to the Midships channel. I'm your Captain Corey, and thank you so much for stopping by here today. As you can see, I'm still cruising on the MSC seashore. We're in Ocho Rios, Jamaica today. It's absolutely beautiful outside here. Just take a look out there. What a beautiful cruise port. Amazing day. The ship continues to be a stunner. Again, the only thing lacking here on MSC is maybe a little variety in the lunch buffet, but otherwise, I've really not found much to complain about. But make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm going to do a full review of my time here on the MSC seashore, so get subscribed if you don't want to miss it. Now, we're going to skip the question of the day today because honestly, I'm not feeling all that creative, but if you've got some ideas for a question of the day, please leave them down in the comments below. I'm sort of running dry for some reason today. The creativity vibes just aren't there. But let's get into the cruise news right away. There's great news coming out from Princess Cruise Line. You know, the line that Carnival Cruise Line owns. Here in the US, they have just announced that, look, if you're an unvaccinated cruiser, we see you, we hear you, and we want you on our ships. And they are actually going to allow now 10% of people cruising on their line to go on unvaccinated, which means all of you who've been holding out for cruising, you might want to run over to the Princess Cruise Line website. Now, there are some caveats here. If you're going to Canada, that's not going to fly, so you're going to have to do a Caribbean cruise or down to the western coast of Mexico. But that's good news. Things are moving in the right direction for you. If you've been holding out, now may be the time. Previously, you had to apply for a waiver. That is still the case. Now, though, Princess will be doing the waivers on a first-come, first-served basis instead of just a lottery system. So if you book early enough, you definitely have a really good chance of getting on a cruise now if you're unvaccinated. So that's some really great news, and I would expect Carnival to expand this across the entire Carnival fleet here in the US pretty quickly here. I wouldn't expect you have to wait more than a few weeks to a month to see this across all of the Carnival brands out of the United States. And hopefully other cruise lines start seeing the writing on the wall. It's time to get the ships filled back up. It's time to get people back to cruising. So this is great news moving forward. Let me know your thoughts on this subject down in the comments below this video. And while I've got you looking down there, hit that little drop down arrow. I want you to check out my Amazon influencer store. You see this shirt, Cruiser? It's one of my shirt designs. I've got about a dozen or so in there. New designs are going up all the time. It's the best place to get something for yourself while you're supporting this channel. And just clicking on that link does help give back to this channel and support my work just a little bit, so I'd really appreciate it. It's the Amazon influencers link down below. Check it out. All right, let's head down to a very nice country called Belize. Yeah, it's a Western Caribbean port, and they have just announced that they're lifting their COVID restrictions. You don't have to be vaccinated to come in. That's great news. Hopefully this is something that will also spread around the Caribbean. This is going to be a situation where I think as this gets more and more popular for cruise ports, you might see cruise lines actually reposition ships and make itineraries specifically to go to ports only that are accepting of the non-vaccinated cruisers. And then it's just going to be a wave from there. So this is really good news coming out of Belize. How many of you have ever cruised down to Belize before? I can't remember if I have or not, which probably means that I haven't. All right, let's follow up on a story we talked about the other day, the Margaritaville at sea being shut down by the US Coast Guard for not meeting standards. Well, good news for old Jimmy Buffett. His ship is back and allowed to sail once again. So it's really unfortunate for those cruisers who were literally on board the ship in Florida, waiting to cruise away, only to be told, get out, we can't take you on the cruise. So good news, it didn't take long to get it fixed up. Hopefully, this is just a growing pain for this brand new cruise line, and it's a lesson for everyone in the industry. Got to make sure you have people in your teams that are dotting their I's and crossing their T's so you can avoid this kind of situation moving forward. Now, unfortunately, as well as cruising is going here in the US, Australia is still seeing some growing pains. As you may recall, they only recently had their first couple of cruises leave since the pandemic began, and well, they've had a Princess cruise line that had over 100 COVID cases on it, and now we're receiving some reports about a P&O ship as well with over 100 positive cases. Now, I really do think this is growing pains, but the other thing is, remember how restrictive things were in Australia versus how we've been a lot more looser here in the United States and even over in Europe in the last 6 months or so. So this could just be a case of people have not been exposed really at all, and now they're congregating and it's just burning through really quickly. So hopefully everybody on board these cruises, I believe they all have to be fully vaccinated. Hopefully they'll be spared from all of the worst aspects of COVID, but still, it's not fun to catch it. As you know, I had it about a month and a half ago now, and you know, not being able to taste, it's not all that fun. All right, Royal Caribbean cruisers, my loyal to Royal crowd, I've got good news for you. You have another option sailing out of most likely Tampa, Florida, that you didn't have up until a few days ago. Royal Caribbean has announced the Serenade of the Seas, which was supposed to be going over to Europe and making sailings up into like St. Petersburg, Russia. Well, obviously that's not an option right now. So they're gonna reposition the Serenade of the Seas somewhere in the United States. Typically, this ship is positioned in Tampa, Florida, so that's what we would expect here. Go ahead and keep an eye out on the Royal Caribbean website if you want to grab a nice, quick, and easy cruise out of Tampa, Florida. That's a great airport to fly into, especially the Southwest Terminal. I really love it. Cigar City Brewery right there. It's a great restaurant. If you ever fly into Tampa on Southwest, do yourself a favor, have a little meal and maybe a drink or two at Cigar City. Well, that's going to do it for today's cruise news. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel as usual. Tomorrow, we are heading out to Grand Cayman in the Cayman Islands. Hopefully everything goes well. They're a lot more strict there about ships coming in. So fingers crossed we're able to make it into Grand Cayman. It's a tender port, and I'm definitely getting off the ship, mostly because my SD card is full. I'm out of memory completely, and literally, this is like my last gigabyte. I'm watching it count down on my screen. I have 40 seconds until the card runs out. So that's going to do it for today's episode. Make sure you get subscribed, and until next time, we'll see ya on the Midships. Jamaica. Oh, you're making me crazy, Mom. This is a fun port. Absolutely beautiful day today. Get on a cruise and give MSC a try. I'm really enjoying this line and this ship. Also, want to let you know, I'm going to be back on board this very ship September 17th. Might be a good chance to get on board. We'll see you tomorrow. La